Brian Kelly should say when he walks to the podium is that his entire staff got outcoached. Guys, bottom line, you can't go for it on fourth down in critical situations and not get it. Hey, Mississippi State's 5-1 right now. Do you want to know why you beat Mississippi State? They went for it on critical fourth downs and didn't get it. You didn't get it. The opening kickoff. I understand the analytics say, and Brian Kelly is right, the analytics say the team that scored first 80+% of the time wins the game. The problem is there's an issue with Brian Polian. Bottom line, every single person that you put back there to receive punts or kickoffs to open up the game, Jack Bech fumbles the opening kickoff, Tennessee gets it, goes down and scores. And as horrible as the first half was offensively, guys, you were still in the ball game. You were still in the ball game. You could have been even more in the ball game if you don't go for it on fourth down. You punt, you go into the locker room 20-7. You can go to your guys and say, guys, listen, we're playing bad right now. We can change this. Now, did LSU have their backs up against the wall? Absolutely. Absolutely. Your starting left tackle is out. Your receivers are missing passes. The first LSU offensive drive that you have, 3rd and 4, Kayshon Boutte. Oh, Blake, what about the pass? Y'all got to get off of the fucking Jane Daniels. Oh, he can't play bullshit. When you drop fucking passes and you miss assignments, day one install, defensive lineman for Tennessee doing stunts. Guys, it's fucking day one install. You can blame whoever you like. It's your God-given right as a human being, as an LSU fan, to go off on whoever you want. You can go off on whoever you want. This did not lose you a game. Jane Daniels going 32 of 45 for 300 yards. Thank God he threw a pick now. Can we get over it? What did he throw the pick on? A fade route to Malik Neighbors. Well, Blake, why is he throwing the ball down the field? You want to see why the fuck he's not throwing the ball down the field now? Huh? You bitch, you moan, and you complain. Horribly coached. Horribly executed. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. What else could I write down in this game that went well for LSU? Nothing. Guys, nothing went well. Nothing went well. Let's go to the first quarter. Here's how you start the game off. You fumble a kickoff. LSU obviously mistaked it. Defense, you give up 2 big runs. Hooker gets a first down. You give up a 15-yard penalty on a face mask. Small rushes in for the end zone. This is how you start out on offense. Mason Taylor, quick catch, first down. No, excuse me, not first down. Then you got a Josh Williams run, 3rd and 1. Boutte misses a wide open pass on 3rd and 1. Then this is the next play. Guys, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the first 8 plays, LSU, Tennessee. You give up a 58-yard punt return. 58-yard punt return. So not only do you fumble the opening kickoff, give up a touchdown, you give up then on special teams a 58-yard punt return. Then 2 quick stops. Then you got 2 quick stops by Greg Brooks. Then you force a field goal. LSU's down 10-0. Guys, we're 14 plays into the game. 14 plays into the game, you're down 10-0. Kayshon gets a jet sweep, nothing. Jaden has to scramble. Emory Jones misses a block. You get a penalty, thank God. First down, Jack Bech on the quick slant. Swing pass to Josh Williams. If you're going to do swing passes, please, God, don't do it to Josh Williams. Jane Daniels on 2nd and 10 has to throw it away. Jane Daniels throws a rifle down the middle to Malik Neighbors, first down. Kyron Lacey, 7-yard catch. Jane Daniels gets sacked. 3 guys hit him in the backfield. ESPN showed it on the screen. He got hit in the backfield at 1.2 seconds or 1.8 seconds. That's your first 20 plays of the game. Over and over and over again, LSU this season has shot themselves in the foot. Completely shot themselves in the foot. You want to get on Mike Denbrock? I'm with you. I'm with you. Because they can't execute the offense that he's calling to start off with. LSU can't execute the offense that he wants to run. This also won't win games. Okay? 28 carries, 55 yards. You can put your little thing, Zach, on it. The little 2 yards per carry. Bottom right. There you go. 2 yards per carry. Jane Daniels' longest run, 17 yards. Ain't going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. Let's go over to Tennessee. Hendon Hooker didn't have an impressive day. He went 17 of 27, guys. 17 of 27, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns. Here's where you get beat. Zach, put your icon on the other rushing yard stats for Tennessee. 49 carries, 262 yards. That's what gets you beat. LSU's offense is struggling. Sounds good. 262 yards rushing, 5.3 yards per carry. That will get you beat. 1, 2, 3 to the foe. I sound like I'm rapping. 4 dudes with over 5 yards per carry. 4. You want to talk about Jane Daniels? I get it. He's got to get better. That is the bottom line. There are things that Jane's got to get better at. I'm not here to be I am not a Jane Daniels apologist. He's got to get better. 3rd and 1. Here's the thing. LSU ran a go route on 3rd and 1. A go route. They go for it on 4th down. They give the ball to Josh Williams. It gets stuffed. Guys, do you understand that a go route is not what you're supposed to run there? Then you get Kayshon Boutte into the game late in the game. I just don't understand it. Jason Morgan sends $9.99 via Super Chat. Says Denbrock was terrible today. Daniels erratic again. Daniels still fails to see receivers down the field. Jason, I really appreciate the Super Chat. You can't have this, though, buddy. You can't have this. Erratic at times, yes. But if you want to come in here and blame Jane for the loss, I'm sorry. You're wrong. You got outcoached. This team was not ready to go. They weren't ready to go. Blaming this loss on one person is not right. Crying Belly says if we would have scored at the end, people would be like, oh my God, Jane has 2 touchdowns. No, they wouldn't have, Crying. No, they wouldn't have. Pal on YouTube says, will be ups and downs this season. I agree with you. Lots of work on all levels. 6-6, maybe 7-5 if we're lucky. Well, you lost to Troy, and the following week you came out and you beat a Florida team. It's a long season. It's a long season. I was wrong. Danny says, but Blake, you constantly said earlier this season this coaching staff will never get out schemed so many times. And Danny, I was wrong. Or Donnie, I was wrong. I will come in here and admit when I was wrong. Mark Spell says, did I miss the Daniels apology? Guys, if y'all really are going to come in here, then you don't know football if you're going to make comments like this. Where have I ever apologized for him? I agree with Mark Spell here, though. He says we put defense in bad positions all game, and then they broke in the second half. Yeah, and I don't understand. So clearly, yes, I'm opening up a beer. I've been drinking liquor. Now I'm going to go to beer. Kind of calm me down. Harold Perkins isn't suspended. I mean, he played special teams. He played a possession on defense at backer. I just don't know. I have no idea what's going on with Harold Perkins. Brian Kelly's going to have to answer that. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know or, say that this scheme-wise. I will say this, though. When he came in, they pushed him around. Blaine Smith says Savion needs to play more. Gay Les doesn't do much. Yeah. Crying says, I'm insanely sick of our below average offense. Crying, I can't believe I'm about to say this to you. I agree. It has not been impressive whatsoever. All right, everybody do us a favor. Do us a favor by hitting the like and share. So many of you listening to us on Facebook. So many of you watching us live on YouTube. Stop what you're doing right now. Hit the like and share. Share to all your social media platforms. We greatly appreciate you doing that. Jonathan Faust says, was a go route, but he ate it instead of throwing it. Yeah, but guys, if like Dan Orlovsky said, Dan Orlovsky's playing more quarterback than me and you both combined. Why is he going to throw a go route when they show it on live TV when he's got a corner covering and a safety over the top? It's a horrible play call. Okay, let him throw it. Guys, you're not seeing the all 22 copy. You have no idea what he's looking at, with all due respect to all of you. Brian Kelly can yell at him all he wants to. That's fine. Sounds good. Give him a shot. Okay. But you don't call that on 3rd and 1. You know that, and I know that. If there's anybody on planet Earth that's played football relatively, you're going for a shot on 3rd and 1. That's not gonna pay off. Here's the thing. LSU has struggled with Jaden Daniels to force the ball down the field, right? Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Has LSU had issues getting the ball down the field with Jaden Daniels? Yes, they have. So then the play call that you call on 3rd and 1 is the thing that's been plaguing your offense the most. Right? The thing that you've heard that's hurt you the most is the thing you call in the most critical down of the game to that point. Guys, it's 13-0 at that point. You go down there and you score, you're 13-7. At minimum 13-6. And here's another thing. On the Kayshon Boutte, I will give Brian Kelly a pass here. When LSU went for it on 4th down, Kayshon Boutte fell down. Y'all know when he did the little route inside the flat, he stuck the ball out. Probably should have been a 1st down, but if you take the points there, it's 10-3. My point in all of this is sometimes you just got to take the points. However, does Brian Kelly does Brian Kelly not trust his special teams enough to be able to do that? I'm an LSU fan that watched the game until the end, and Zach reminds me of this. Okay, he throws the ball down the field to end the game, and it gets picked off because your wide receiver drops it mid in the air, and it pops up and it gets picked. Sharon says on Facebook, you can't put this loss on Daniels. It was a whole team effort. Nobody played well. I agree. Jonathan Faust, you keep saying he was good. No, he has good numbers. He can't make the throws down when it counts. Buddy, my point is, you're calling a play on 3rd fucking, let me say it like this. Maybe people, you're calling a play on 3rd fucking down that has been the Achilles heel of this team. That's what you call on 3rd and 1. That's what you call. Zach, can we scroll down a little bit on this? Here's another thing that beat you. Brew McCoy, 7 catches, 140 yards. Jalen Hyatt, 4 catches, 63 yards. I mean, guys, you got torched in the air. You can leave it right there, Zach. Go back up. Go back up. Okay. 6 catches, 80 yards. 3 catches, 44 yards. You know, we're not talking about also, what was it? LSU already had 7 points at this point. LSU could have gone into halftime 20-13. Okay. I get that the Jeray Jenkins drop. You remember the one that's over the middle? I understand that it's tipped. Okay. But just because it's tipped, when it hits you right in the breadbasket, guys, you got to catch it. This is a full onslaught offensively that isn't boding well. You cannot come out in the SEC and play flat and expect to win. This is not just an offensive issue. You gave up 23 first half points. Some of that due to coaching. Actually, I'll give 13 points of that directly to coaching. Javante Robinson says you always apologize for him. Producers, have I ever apologized for him? Y'all are here every night. You can come up if you want. Have I ever apologized for him?
I'll say it. You've never apologized. What you have done is said, hey, it's not all on him. It's on X, Y, and Z. He has to get better.
Agreed. And Pooh, bottom line, he's got to get fucking better at a lot of things. That's just fair. But to say this is on him is idiotic. It's idiotic. All right, just making sure that I'm not fucking going crazy here. Zane Thibodeau says Denbrock has to go, Blake. Well, Huncho on YouTube says get Denbrock and Polian the fuck out of there. Okay. Austin Johnson asked, where is Harold Perkins? Man, I have no clue. That is something that Brian Kelly is going to have to answer the questions for. He's going to have to answer the questions for that. Guys, I literally have no idea. I have zero idea what or even remotely is going on, why you're not putting probably and arguably your best defensive player on the field, why he's not there. I don't know. Have no idea. Aunt Marshall says that was embarrassing. Absolutely. Absolutely. David says, y'all bashed Brennan in 2020, said his stats were against inferior competition. Jay Daniels has decent stats, but he doesn't have that it factor. Now, this is a little bit interesting. To get W's. But I think, David, the problem with that analogy is Miles in that offense still was scoring 35, 40 points a game. Right? I think that's the issue. They were still scoring. Cajunomics on YouTube says, can Kelly stop taking the ball in the first half, please? Well, look, it's a coaching philosophy. That's something that he's going to have to think about. Maybe it does work 80% of the time that the team that scores first wins. It might not work for this team, right? Like the other 20%, LSU might fall into that. But here's another fact. When's the last time that we've seen Jack Bech make a play like that, if ever? If ever. Okay, Zach, you can go to team stats. If ever. I don't remember Jack Bech making a play that bad, maybe ever. Chris Lee says we only scored 13 points against the worst defense in the SEC. Chris, they're not the worst defense in the SEC. They're not. But I will agree with you here. They're not great. They're not a great defensive team. Chuck says we won't win another SEC game with this offense and may struggle for a bowl game. Maybe. Hell Mendoza, I can't find the super chat, guys. I don't know where it is. Do we have it? Oh, here it is. Hell Mendoza sends us $5 via super chat. He says, all I know is at the end of the day, LSU's O-line and D-line are inconsistent AF, can't win in the SEC like that, guys, that's your game. That is your tweet, or that is your comment. You got dominated on the line of scrimmage. That's the truth. Guys, the O-line on these sacks, Zach, I don't know if we have the team. I don't know how many times Jane Daniels got sacked. I don't know if it'll show it. I don't see it here, but let's do this very quickly. Guys, you beat them on third down. You almost had just as many first downs as they did. They got 3 for 3 on fourth down. You did not. Total yards, 501 to 355. Yards per play, 2 yards better. That will kill you. Rushing, they obliterated you in. Okay, turnovers, 2. Time of possession, about the same. Will Campbell not being out there is not great. Zach's got a question. Let's bring up Zach. Zach, what's your question?
Huh? I do not have a question.
You said in the private chat, is it fair to say?
That's Pooh. Pooh asked. He said, is it fair to say that State has called?
Oh, my bad, Zach. Pooh Bear, what'd you say?
Is it fair to say that special teams has cost you in both your losses?
No, well,
because you got to think you get put behind the 8 ball against the fastest scoring team in the nation. You know, you get put behind the 8 ball by fumbling the opening kickoff.
And you must be punts against Florida State.
Yeah, but
two buff punts, and then your punt. You finally, you punt. And then give up a 50. You get a 58-yard punt return that puts them right back at the 35 to score again.
Here's the thing that Brian Kelly's going to tell everybody. Okay, but Brian Kelly's going to tell everybody, guys, they went 98 yards for a touchdown.
I get that. That's fair.
And so there's some points that I'm like, well, I mean, fuck you. I guess you got to go for it. But I just, I don't know. I don't know. It definitely isn't helping. No. And if you had Cade York, my other question would be, how many field goals would you be kicking?
I think Pooh's point is, like, in this game, one of the biggest things that we've all talked about is you can't start slow like you have.
You can't.
And that's immediately what they did. Like, you turn the ball over immediately, and you immediately put yourself, as Pooh put it, behind the 8 ball, and you start slow because you're already down 10, and you're already playing. You're already having to play Tennessee ball against Tennessee, who does it the best.
Yeah, and look, I know David Cohn came on this week and said that you can play a shootout game with them. The fuck you can.
You can't. No,
fuck you can.
Memphis Spence told you, do not play hyperball. If you play hyperball, you're going to lose.
Correct. So, all right, let's get to a couple more of these comments. Zach, if we can find the I forget what I asked or what I was even looking for. Tim Graves says, Miles don't play for us. Damn. Well, guys, Miles quit on you. So you're looking for answers. I get that you're looking for answers, but come on. I mean, he's not it. Stop it. Oh, how many sacks did Tennessee have? That's what I'm looking for. Mark on Facebook, everyone needs to be running, especially coaches. I don't think you could do that in today's world. Rick says Jack Best didn't lose the game on that play. Yeah, I don't think he lost it, but it definitely hurts you very badly. Aunt Marshall says, I get why he took it. He wanted to get Tennessee from starting a fast start. Just didn't work because of execution. Here's another question. Guys, at what point do we start talking about execution? Because, listen, here's another thing, too. Okay? Here's another thing, too. When you're trying to run inside zone, guys, there are many teams that can run inside zone without an issue. Now, having Will Campbell not in there hurts you, damn near kills you, okay? Then Garrett Dellinger goes down, that kills you. But again, this isn't what hurt you. What hurt you is, I don't see it here. Zach might have to scroll up. Zach, can you scroll up very quickly? Scroll up this way. Okay. Can we go to the overall box score? Or there we go. Keep going up. Stop right there. This is what kills you. 49 rushes, 262 yards. Guys, they ran all over you. They ran all over you. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. Ben on YouTube, great name, brother. It's my son's name too. Tennessee has a year and a half on their rebuild than LSU. That's another thing. That's another thing. Crying Belly says, one thing I'll say at Blake is that people calling for BK and Denbrock's head, but if you watch, LSU has a lot of Coach O residue still on their roster. He's not lying there. He's not lying there. Need a clean sweep BK team before we judge. Crying, that's correct, right? Like this is probably your best football take that you've ever had. Okay, like legitimately. Because again, and we say this all the time, when you have situations where you like at some point, and I'm not calling out specific players, okay, but at some point, you've had two head coaches, you've had most of these guys have had three new offensive coordinators, you've had new defensive coordinators, you've had a lot of different position coaches, and you still have a lot of the same issues. Guys, at some point, it's not all on the coaches. I do think the decision-making by Brian Kelly may have been really bad, but when you're going out there to execute and you're missing tackles and you're doing things the wrong way, Jaden missing wide open passes, holding on to the ball too long, offensive line not picking up day one install, stunts. Guys, as an offensive lineman, I'll tell you this, you don't, in the passing game, you don't play a man, you play a zone. Okay, when you go back and you're in your pass set, you have a zone. It's called arm length zone. That is your zone. Okay, if a defensive lineman is going to go down and another's going to come on top, you don't leave your assignment. Like, we can say that these guys are inexperienced, and I'm with you. I'm with you. A lot of inexperience on the offensive line. What's the excuse for Will Campbell and Emory Jones? What's the excuse? It's not an excuse. All right, everybody hit the like and share. We greatly appreciate all of those that help us do that. Chili says, Blake, thoughts on Denbrock's first script of plays? Well, I mean, his first script of plays ended, if I'm not mistaken, and I'd have to go back and look at it. I don't think they're great, if that's what you're asking. If you're asking holistically, I don't think that they're great. Now, some of it too, man. Some of it too. So the first drive you have is the Kayshon Boutte drop. Guys, the slant was wide open. There's still plays that are wide open. I get that ball's tipped to Jure on the Jure Jenkins throw across the middle. Guys, you got to catch that. I mean, you got to catch that. Not trying to be rude. Not trying to be rude, but it's just the truth. Alton Scott says the O-line missed basic assignments. Completely. Fat Boy Slim says Boutte needs to be in street clothes because he's not mentally on this team. Daniel Williams says this is all on the coaches. Stephen Young says something tells me many of the positions on the roster will be different versus UF. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, look, if you guys want him to go, and I'm going to say this, but if you want him to go to Garrett, call it out then. But I just want to warn you, when you say stuff like that, guys, he threw 2 interceptions against Southern. Blake, you went 9 for 10 against New Mexico. This isn't New Mexico, guys. Which guy are you going to get? He went 2 of 6 last week against Auburn. Not all of it being his fault, but I do think it's funny how the drops don't go for Jaden when you're making your argument, but go for Nussmeier. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about when you say that. And you don't have anybody in your life that has the nuts enough to tell you that. I'll tell it to your face. It's just a God's honest truth. It's just a God's honest truth. I wonder what these goddamn scores are. How bad is Auburn getting beat right now? That'd be the ultimate question. Oh, it's 0-0. Okay. Here's what's crazy too, man. We beat a 5-1 Mississippi State team at home. At home. I still think you can go into the swamp and win. You got to make adjustments. But if you don't want Anthony Richardson running all over you, you better put in Harold Perkins. Guys, DeMario Tolan hasn't seen a defensive series all year, and he played today. Now, I don't know if Harold's hurt. I mean, somebody's going to have to tell me in the chat if Brian Kelly was asked about Harold Perkins, because I just don't know there. No, I don't see anything on Harold Perkins. Basically, and I'm just reading this from Wilson Alexander, Brian Kelly keeps repeating some variation of there are the best players we have for these spots. We need to coach better. Basically, what that statement means is, guys, we don't have the people we want in here. That's also an excuse. It's also an excuse. It's also an excuse. It's an excuse. He's still a good coach. Tim Gray says it's not his time. If you're talking about Garrett, I agree with you. Bayou Chubbs on Facebook says the problem is effort. There are tons of mediocre effort after the initial kickoff, especially when this offense gets down. Right? Targeting on the pod on YouTube says this offense is going to put it up on Florida. I promise. The offense needed this punch in the mouth. I'm not trying to be rude. Targeting on the pod, they got punched in the mouth last week. They got punched in the mouth last week. But it's all over the place. It's a horrible effort by everybody. Stacy Harrell says, true that, Blake. Got to catch the ball that hits your hands. Yeah, you got to catch the ball that hits your hands. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, that's not – and look, going back to this, I still don't think we get to see all the sack numbers. Zach, as soon as we can find the defensive sack numbers, I want to know how many times Jane Daniels got sacked. But again, this can't happen. This is how you get beat. I would rather Jane Daniels throw for 200 yards or 150 yards and you get another 150 yards on the ground, because then you start dominating. But you throw the ball 42 times, okay? That's not going to work. That's just not going to work. Brandy Blake says, if you don't have the people if you want in there, then blame recruiting at that point. Well, the problem with that is that he can't – there's not really a lot he can do from the recruiting things right now, Brandy. SS Poke Dad on YouTube. If Walker Howard is the best thing since sliced bread, then why isn't he playing? Because they're redshirting. William says, you got to come out quick and not fumble the ball on the opening kickoff. That definitely hurt us. Yeah, it started off the entire game bad. I mean, there's not yeah, guys, I know that Harold played. All right, I'm guessing this is from Zach. He says, Jane Daniels got sacked 5 times, 9 tackles for loss. Jesus Christ. Well, guys, this isn't on him. And look, you know, you guys always come in here and say I'm an apologist for some group. Offensive line played horrendous today. They played really bad. Okay? I thought they did some good things in pass protection, but running the football against an inferior defensive line is not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. Daniel Williams says that's a weak excuse by BK. Coach better. You're stuck with those guys for now. Well, yeah, it's a very, very weak excuse. Very weak excuse. Fat Boy Slim, I don't know what you looking at. This man said 8 sacks. No, I don't think we had 8 sacks. Zach said we had 5. Or Pooh Bear said we had 5. Cy Tate says JD won't win you games, but he won't turn the ball over. We need a spark. Okay. Sounds good, Cy. Go tell Brian Kelly that. Dip on YouTube says Howard doesn't have the chest. Jesus Christ. You guys come in here and just say whatever in the hell y'all want to. Simper says his dad wants him to redshirt. Right. Yeah, he doesn't. They don't want him to play at the current moment. But somebody needs to tell Walker Howard that. I mean, guys, it all wraps up into one thing. It all wraps up into one game. I mean, I don't know. There's just not a lot to break down. I mean, we can talk about specific plays. We can get schematic. And if you want me to get schematic, we'll get schematic. Right? Like, we can do that. But you just, I don't know. You can't play hypo ball, man, with an offense that has shown you that they can't keep up against Power 5 opponents. Scored 31 points against Mississippi State. Sounds cute. What was it, Zach? What was the stat that you found? There was 4 fumbles for Tennessee today, or 4 fumbles in total today. LSU or Tennessee got all of them, or something like that. Whatever it was. Let's see. I mean, I'm not counting that interception thrown. I mean, it's in the late of the game, but I know Hendon Hooker had a couple of fumbles. So, and they had a couple of fumbles. I don't think it'll be in there, Zach. Yeah, there you go. There he is right there. 3 fumbles. Hendon Hooker had 2. Jalen Wright had 1. LSU had 1. They recovered it. 4 total fumbles that you didn't get. Sometimes when you're generating the plays, the ball's not going to bounce your way. And today, it did not at all. John says nothing from Brian Kelly on Harold Perkins. Well, I mean, he played. It's definitely their decision. It was clearly their decision to not play him. Hel Mendoza says not having the guys in there, coaching staff included. Well, yeah, I mean, he's got to point to himself, right? I mean, like, he's got to point to, this game is just much on the coaching staff. There was a point in time where BK was absolutely getting into Pauls, but getting into Cortez Hankton because Cortez Hankton pulled Kayshon Boutte. If I'm not mistaken, I guess this is Pooh Bear. Is this you? Yeah, I could tell by if I'm not mistaken. That's how I know that it's Pooh Bear. He says, if I'm not mistaken, Zach could be like, look, you bitches. No, he wouldn't say that. He loves Jesus too much. I mean, Pooh Bear does too. Just saying. But Pooh Bear says, if not mistaken, we've been saying since the summer that Tennessee is a good team. Yeah, man. They are. We'd most likely lose to them. That's true. The consensus was 8-4, and we lost to a team and we all said that we'd lose to, still on par for the season. I think that's a good point, Pooh. I think that's a good point. Right. I mean, look, and Pooh, we said, I legitimately, tell me I'm wrong. I said that in Spaces Wednesday or whenever Pooh had his Spaces, Twitter Spaces. There's a lot of people saying that you were going to go 8-4. But look, this next slate for LSU gets brutal. Guys, it's about to get very brutal. You go to Florida, you got Ole Miss at home, you got Alabama at home, and I forget, and then you got Arkansas maybe after that. Okay, I mean, look, Arkansas looked like absolute dog shit without KJ Jefferson today. They looked horrible. And then you got Texas A&M with UAB before A&M. Guys, you're going to win some of those games. I think you still can beat A&M. I still want to see more from Ole Miss. I know that they play Kentucky. Kentucky's not explosive on offense either. They won that game at home. I don't think you're going to beat Alabama, so that's 3. And I think that you do lose one of the Ole Miss, Florida, A&M, Arkansas games. I think you lose one of those. I still think that you can get to 8-4. You gotta clean the shit up on offense, though. And really and truthfully, we talked about this defensive line all season long, all off season. Blake, the D-line this, the D-line that, the D-line this, the D-line that. BJ Ojolari. Guys, we got zero pressure at a lot of times on Hendon Hooker. Name a time that you remember seeing BJ Ojolari in the backfield. Now, I know that they get the ball out fast. I get it. But there were a lot of times that Hendon Hooker hit passes down the field. You know that, and I know that. Where was your All-American? He wasn't there. He was not there. And offensively, if you're going to play that type of game and try to keep up with Tennessee, you're just not going to do it. You're not going to out Josh Heupel. You're just not going to do it. Now, Tennessee's got a massive game next week against Alabama. Alabama obviously plays Texas A&M, and which will be a very emotional and draining game for them. They can say all they want. We can say all we want. Texas A&M's bad. Bama's going to beat the dog shit out of them. Let's see what they do next week against Tennessee. That's going to be the biggest game of the year so far, in my opinion. It's going to be Alabama versus Tennessee. It's not close. It's not close. Guys, you could get an SEC championship preview. But everybody's saying that Tennessee can't win the SEC. After watching them so far this year, Tennessee can win the SEC. Oh, and by the way, to you Notre Dame media, guys, you fucking lost to Marshall. Shut up. Shut up. You guys are just as bad. And I would love to see, I forget who they're playing. I think BYU. Oh, man, Kansas lost, Pooh Bear? God dang it. Walt on Facebook says, LSU is like company that's nothing going right for. Just embarrassing. Oh, well. Yeah. True. Taraj on Facebook says, this is going to take time for LSU to get back. Guys, I mean, listen. Name a head coach that has come in and done look, the only coach that's come in and gone undefeated the next season and looked really good was Urban Meyer, Ohio State, because they had the people. This is pre-transfer portal. I mean, people will give Nick Saban that first year and not allow LSU to do it. Right? Like if you're going to let Nick Saban go 6-6 or 7-6, you got to give Brian Kelly time, man. I agree with that. Daniel Williams says LSU has no identity. Tennessee knows who they are. Well, they don't have an identity offensively. They do have one defensively. They just got beat. Physically, they got beat. And look, I tweeted this earlier in the game. Y'all can go check Twitter. I tweeted this out. Guys, they ran the ball. I marked it down. I forget the notes. I want to say because I kept a tally, because after the first three times, they kept running it right at 99, Jaquelin Roy. They kept running it right at BJ Ojolari over and over and over again. So in my notes that I take in the handy-dandy black LSU notebook, okay, I marked down every time they ran an inside zone and would flip the zone run to wherever 99 was. And 18. Can't happen, man. Can't happen. Aaron Miller says, since they tried to get the ball out quick, why not try to bat the balls down at the line? Well, Ali Gay did do it once. I mean, they did it a couple of times, but they're playing off coverage, which I think was a horrible, which was horrible, So, yeah. This coming from Preston Guy from TigerBait.com. 6 fourth down attempts and 4 fumbles that all went Tennessee's way. Guys, ball game. Ball game. You notice how people leave when you ask them legitimate questions and they DM you and they get mad. Blake's a bitch. You can send me all the DMs you want saying I'm a bitch. It's not going to affect me either way. My wife's hotter than yours. I make more money than you. You're a fucking loser. Cy Tate says, "Why do you see us beating who do you see us beating the rest of the season down the line?" Still think you can go into and beat Florida. I also see you can lose the game, guys. I think it's a toss-up outside of Alabama and UAB. I think one going to LSU, one not going LSU's way. I still think it's a toss-up for every game on your schedule. I still think you can beat Ole Miss. You know, I'm old enough to remember when, Ole Miss came into town after beating Alabama and lost to a very bad Les Miles coach team. Guys, here's a crazy thing. Man, we lost to Troy, and the following week went to Gainesville and won. I think it was in Gainesville. Yeah, we went to Gainesville and won. Sometimes college football has a wild way of doing things. And it's not fun to lose. Guys, I get it. It's not fun to lose. It sucks to lose. It really sucks. But you're 4-2 and have a lot of season left. You just got to get better. TJ or David Wirtz. Stop it. Royce, he quit on you, buddy. Royce Ledette, Miles Brennan's better than Jaden Daniels. Bud, Miles Brennan quit. And by the way, it's not spelled M-I-L-E-S. It's M-Y-L-E-S. He's been here since 1962, and you don't know how to spell his name. M-Y-L-E-S. Guys, if you think Jaden's bad, you should have been at them LSU practices when Miles was in there. He quit on you. You're clamoring because you're saying that because you got beat. You're saying that because you got beat. But I promise you, he's not. Royce says, hot wife, more money, Blake's the coat. I'm just telling you. I got people, Pooh Bear, I got people in my DMs calling me look, this one is from D's Notre Dame nuts. You're a fucking bitch. That's the DM I get. Well, I got more money than you. My wife's hotter than you. My life's better than yours. You're a fucking loser. So, just bottom line. People that have burner accounts are fucking losers. Aunt Marshall says A&M beat Bama, then lost to Miss State last year. That's true, man. It's true. And here's a crazy thing. That same team lost to LSU in the last game of the year. And if I'm not mistaken, Pooh Bear, didn't Miss State, I'm bringing you up, Pooh, didn't Miss State beat the dog shit out of Notre Dame last year too? I think they beat him by 30. We might have to look that up.
Mississippi State?
Yeah, Mississippi State beat A&M like by 20 or 30 last year.
And
that's
you said Notre Dame. That's why I was confused. Okay.
No. I meant A&M.
My last week.
Last year A&M got beat to shit by Mississippi State, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was a close game, 26-22 last year. This year,
all right, I was wrong. You were right. God forgive me. They still lost.
Yeah.
Shit.
Now this year, last week.
But see, here's the crazy thing. Pooh. We beat the dog shit out of Mississippi State this year. They're 5-1. God, if you're Mississippi State and Mike Leach, how bad are you kicking yourself for going for all those fourth downs and getting beat? Horrible. Remington Pierce says Miles broke his leg in the comments. Get over it. Wayne Wells says, I need a beer, but at work. Yeah, I got, this is not a paid promotion from Middle Light, but Middle Light, I would love for you to be a part of the AYS team. Pooh Bear, write this time down, 51 minutes. Miller Lite. I would love this. Again, not a paid promotion. I would love for you to be a part of the AYS team. Hit a brother up. We got over 600 people in this live chat on radio or live stream. Hit a brother up. Pressure Williams says this is no way on the QB. I agree. H&S on YouTube, or H8S on YouTube says, as a Vol, gotta say this is refreshing. Why, buddy? Look, if you come in the chat like this as a Tennessee fan, go right on ahead. Go right on ahead. And look, to Tennessee's credit, guys, I don't know if you can't say this.
We're back.
That is a program changer for Tennessee. It's a program changer. Extra on YouTube says, my wife is hotter than you. I meant yours. I would sure hope she's hotter than a man. LOL, misspoke. I got it. Yeah, I misspoke. But she is hard. My wife is higher than y'all's. Don't tell her I said this. Don't tell her I said this. She's a dime that's top of the line. Cute face, slim waist with a big behind. Maybe not a slim waist right now, okay? Because she's pregnant, but hey. Rick says, hashtag Ask Blake, is LSU improving as the season goes on? They will, but it doesn't feel like it. Yeah, it doesn't feel like they are. Doesn't feel like they are. Yeah, Tim, I know it's funny, but she is a dime that's top of the line, cute face, slim waist with a big behind. I found you, Miss New Booty. Chubb says that's a 12-ounce can. Blake, that's a 12-ounce can. Finish that damn beer. Chug it. I'm not chugging it because I'll be belching the whole day. I ain't doing it. I'll tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to hit that Gramco later on when Pooh Bear starts at Twitter Spaces. Jerry Covington says, man, I love your show. You are funny as fuck. I'm from Louisiana, but I live in Lincoln, Nebraska. I appreciate that, Jerry. It's true. Look. Look at this dime right here, your boy reeled in, huh? Look at that dime right there, boy. Shit. She a dime, man. Bro, women love me. Okay? It's just the truth. Women love me. All right? My mom says Ole Miss 3, Vandy 3. Uh-oh, Chris. We got a bot in the chat, boys. We got a bot in the chat. So, yeah. Danny Snow says we're 4-2. Who would have thought after the last two seasons? Look, man, it's the truth. I mean, you are what your record says you are at the current moment sometimes. And look, LSU got beat down by Tennessee, a team that could win the SEC. You're a middle of the pack team. You got to go out there against Florida and show who you are. You got to have a better game plan, though, man. You got to have a better game plan. Pooh Bear, I just read that comment. Go ahead. Hey, what size casket would you like? Because she going to put you in the grave. I'm just going to let you know. Running backs not up to par. Well, again, guys, and going to this, Jaden Daniels, again, your leading rusher. Zach, can we go to individual stats? Let's go to individual stats right quick. Again, guys, 7 rushes, 10 yards. I mean, but look, here's the thing about this. Okay, your offensive line had a lot of people out. You were really struggling. But, man, 4 carries for John Emery, 4 yards. Longest was 2. Josh Williams, 7 carries, 10 yards. I mean, guys, let me ask y'all this. So you're mad when Jane Daniels tucks it and runs, but you don't say anything about the ineffective or inability to run the football. Right? Like, we don't talk about the inability of running the football. So you can't, you know, you got to be able to run the football in this league. Daryl says, I love watching your show. Love your honesty on everything. Thank you, bud. I appreciate that. HAS is favored. We're supposed to win by 27 FFS. Against who? Bama? Chris, why does Chris always do this? Shit, my wine fine as fuck. Chris, why you always do this? Chris, I'm just glad she's alive that you didn't smother her ass. I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Oh, baby, get up. Can't breathe. I can't breathe. I'm just glad Chris ain't smothered her ass yet. Shit. She laying there. Get off, Chris. Now that shit's funny, Chris. Chris, that shit's funny now. That shit's funny. Aaron Miller says, kudos to all the wives putting up with us Tigers on Saturdays. That's the truth, man. That's the ultimate truth. Jacob Cole says, folks still on that nuss bus like we would have won this game. Yeah, it wouldn't have won you the game. It wouldn't have won you the game. I don't know, Chris. I'm not. He says, who is this bro taking all the low blows? I'm not taking low blows, man. It's just a joke, bud. It's just a joke. Barrett Granger says, we mad at everything right now, LOL. 75% transfers. Let them get their guys in the building. It's another thing we hadn't talked about, man. It's another thing that we hadn't talked about. It's not great on a lot of, on a lot of levels. Extra said, old Quinn Sewers is looking like that guy. Yeah, they played good today. Man, here's the crazy thing. Would you rather be Oklahoma at the current moment? Because I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to be Oklahoma right now. So, anyway. All right, boys, we'll cut this one a little bit short. Look, it is what it is. Maybe BK, I think this is Pooh. He says maybe BK should take the LSU off their helmets. Some won't get it. Yeah, talking about grambling because Hugh Jackson took off the G of their helmet. God, that's so bad. I mean, Rick, you're right. You're 2-1 in the SEC. You're 2-1 in the SEC. So, look, moving forward, you know, I think he's got to take his LSU off too. I mean, guys, it was a really badly coached game. It's a really bad coach game. And so, I mean, I could sit here and break it down. We'll talk about it all week, but yeah. Bayou says, find me one coach who just walked into the damn building and won a natty. I'll wait. The only coach is a suspended Urban Meyer. They went undefeated. Jason Brumfield says, AYS, don't bring Gramco into this. It's true. I probably shouldn't. Kimberly says, how do we address special teams other than punting? Well, Kimberly, here's been my point about special teams the entire season. You don't have the depth or the quality of depth to be able to play elite special teams, right? Like you got Jeray Jenkins running down. Guys, there was a kickoff that we had to Tennessee. I think it was to open the second half up. John Emery made the tackle. Guys, that's your running back running down the field. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but when the hell is John Emery running down there for anyway? Like it just, I don't know. You're not playing Harold Perkins is a problem. Ryan says Josh Heupel seems to be doing fine with transfers. He didn't do fine last year, though. I mean, his whole entire team wasn't transfer. I mean, his entire team was transfers, and he played in the Down East. I mean, he lost to Kentucky, lost to Georgia. I mean, come on. Lost to Alabama. So, yeah. I mean, this isn't something This isn't something new. Sean McDaniel says Les Miles. Les Miles didn't win a natty when he walked in. It took him a couple of years. Lost their first game to Virginia Tech. I mean, so we'll see. The one thing that's for certain, though, we don't have the offensive philosophy that Heupel has for us to do what we're doing. Just don't, man. All right, boys, let's call it. We'll see y'all Monday or maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll do an emergency one earlier in the day, maybe like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock or whatever. We'll see. Till then, we'll see y'all soon. Let's go watch some football. Fucking sucked watching that. See y'all soon.